understand the pros and cons of abstraction layers. Now here, what I mean by abstraction layers is specifically those platforms, those tools that will allow you, that sell the idea of a single management pane of glass, right? So I'm talking about things like Red Hat's OpenShift. I'm talking about things like Pivotal. The idea here is you're going to layer a platform, a tool on top of your cloud provider, multiple cloud providers if you're going to use multi-cloud, and also on premises, and you're able to manage everything uniformly from that third-party abstraction layer or platform that you are going to deploy. Now, theoretically, that sounds really good. But the question then, a lot of questions then come up, right? This is where I want you to evaluate and understand the pros and cons of this type of an approach. Number one, if you're doing this because you're trying to reduce lock-in, well, you've kind of eliminated lock-in everywhere, but you're now locked in with this abstraction layer. Whomever this tool or platform might be, you are now locked in with this abstraction layer. So you've kind of seeded one lock-in for another. Is this really what you were going for? So that's one. Number two, you're going to the cloud for all of the native features and capabilities that that cloud provider is offering you. If you all of a sudden abstract it and you have these plugins that can interface with the cloud, then I would say, do you really need to even go to the cloud? You can pretty much host this new platform anywhere, right? And avoid going to an AWS or an Azure, put it in a co-location if you need to, or get some kind of a hosted service for this platform, and you've essentially achieved the same thing, because here the center becomes this new platform that you're deploying. Some of the other considerations that you have to take into account is if you do deploy this platform, this abstraction layer, you're back in infrastructure mode. Guess who's responsible for standing up this platform, for making sure that it's available, it is scalable, for monitoring it, for all of these things are now your responsibility. So again, we're going to the cloud because we're trying to get away from some of these. If I abstract, then I solve one problem, but I create another set of problems. Now, these abstraction tools, these platforms are really great. I'm not advising you or telling you not to use them. I am simply alerting you here. I'm simply advising you to understand the pros and cons, understand what you get if you try to use these tools, and understand why potentially you'd be using them. Because again, my biggest argument here is if you like this approach, then why are you even considering the cloud? These platforms will give you a lot of rich feature sets, a lot of capabilities that at some point you have to ask yourself, do I need to go to an AWS, an Azure, a Google, an Oracle, or should I simply host this platform? I can manage it in a colo, I can get it as a service. I'm sure that they'll offer it, the vendor will offer it as a service. So evaluate the pros and cons of deploying a layer on top of the cloud provider, because again here, yes, you're going to reduce lock-in of the cloud providers, but you're going to get locked into this new platform, and you're also going to have increased costs, because now you have the cost of this platform and you have all of the associated costs of the cloud providers as well.